saw you meeting at the New World Order. You look very modern with your narrow shoulders. You were a vision of a holy grace, and oh, you held your place. Everybody wants a soul revival, and you handed me the language and a social title. You were the cocoa and the go-go baby, and you shook me all over the place. Yeah, you put me in my place.
You've been involved in the music industry for 17 years. What is it that inspires you to keep going now?
I have a huge love for creating. I have a huge love for being progressive in music and in arts. Music is something that has just been very natural to me. It's kind of the way I've been, built. It's the way been the main, interest in my life for quite some time. And even back until I was like 4 years old, I was singing in the church and stuff. So it's kind of ingrained, if you will. And so I count that a blessing as well, that I'm able to continue to make music, whether it's rock and roll, whether it's traditional, whether it's whatever form it might take. Even the spoken word poetry, I appreciate being able to make stuff for people that genuinely find it interesting.
Spoken word isn't something I've come across very much of. How did you get involved in that?
Well, spoken word became an offshooting of writing my poetry and being involved in music, and I think it's kind of a natural progression from writing the words and being a singer. It's very difficult for me to write poetry and put that in a song sometimes, because it's not as palatable for a large audience. But for the spoken word, I thought it was a great outlet for me to be able to get those words out into a musical context. And Adrian and I really thought of the idea early on before we did it. Adrian Ballou did the project with me, and I'm actually in the middle of doing another project very similar.
How are you finding fatherhood?
Fatherhood is amazing. Yeah. It really is. For me, it's just a natural progression, and I think for me it was also a blessing, because it kind of opened me up to who I really am as a person, and kind of got me to realize that a lot of things that mattered to me before were just completely useless. And so having that child in your life is a great motivator to becoming a better person.
I read on the website that you played a vampire in a movie. Is that true?
I was cast to be a vampire in a movie, and the movie never happened, actually. But I was cast, and the thing was, the interesting thing was they cast me based upon seeing me perform at a show and seeing some posters of me and things around town, and they came to the show and they loved my performance, and this was about 8 years ago. Right. But it was an interesting idea, and the actual writing was, the storyline was really interesting to me. It's intriguing. But since then, I've been involved in a couple of independent films, and so.
Like Supernatural.
Supernatural is starting again in October, so okay. I'll be acting in that as well.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What other projects have you got coming up?
I'm basically going back in the studio.
Yeah.
Make another project.
Cool.
Make another.
Will it make it this side of the ocean?
Hope so.
Hey, cool.
We're doing a band project this time.
Hey, cool.
And so we absolutely hope so.
How important is the Bible to you?
Well, the Bible is so important because it's the foundation, of all of my beliefs. You either account it as 100% real, or you have to look at it as a bunch of random writings that may or may not be inspired. So, if you believe that they are actually truly words of God and accounts of Christ the Savior, then it's unbelievably important. So, but for me, I'm sure that it would be a great loss not to have been able to have the words of God. Absolutely.
There's 6,912 languages in the world, and actually only 420 odd of those have actually got a complete Bible. How does that make you feel?
I think it's interesting. I didn't realize there are that many languages, so it's kind of a stunning figure. But I would think there would be some languages that would be very difficult to work that, because there's so many phrases in the Bible that are time, they're time managed, if you will. Like they're a specific time period. So it'd be very hard to let people know, okay, this was an actual thing that happened, 2,000 years ago, or and is yeah. So it would be difficult to translate some of that, I think.
Yeah.
So I think it's quite a chore for somebody to do that, to be honest. God can use you now to impact and change people's lives. Do something now to help alleviate Bible poverty. I'm Kevin Max.